Hello, fellow Yu-Gi-Oh fanatics. I thought a long time what different kind of video I could do, and I thought, well, maybe let's do a deck profile. That's something I never did before, and a good friend of mine did one some time ago. Seeker-Traum. I put him here, and without any more talking, let's go right into it. It's a Masked Beast des Gardius deck profile. It's a fun deck. Of course, I only play fun decks because it's fun. So we start with normal monsters. You won't believe it, because we need them actually to summon the Masked Beast des Gardius. We have 3 times Melchid, the 4-faced beast, and 3 times Grand Tiki Elder. We need this to, as I said before, to summon the Masked Beast des Gardius, because it's his summon condition to have one of these tributed to the effect monsters. Of course, we play 3 times Masked Beast des Gardius. The effect is this card cannot be normal summoned or special summoned. You can only special summon it if you tribute 2 monsters, and one of these monsters has to be Grand Tiki Elder or Melchid, the 4-faced beast, and then you can special summon it from your hand. And if this card leaves the field and goes to the graveyard, it must not be destroyed. It's just if it leaves the field and it goes into the graveyard, you can activate one Mask of Remnants directly from your deck and equip it to a monster on the field, on your opponent's side of the field. Yes, we play this 3 times because it's a Masked Beast deck. What a surprise. Then we play 3 times Archfiend Empress. Why do we do that? Well, very easy. So we only need this card to summon 1 time correctly. So with Grand Tiki Elder, Melchid, and so on. And if we summon this one 1 time correctly, we can summon it out of the graveyard as often as we want. But we have to summon it 1 time correctly, like Dark Necrophilia, for example. And this card says, well, everything else is also pretty interesting. If a dark monster, if a fiend monster that is dark attribute would be destroyed, I can banish 1 fiend monster from a graveyard so that the monster will not be destroyed. And if this card, if Archfiend Empress, is destroyed and gets to the graveyard, I can special summon 1 dark fiend monster level 6 or higher and special summon it to my field, so we can special summon him again. So that's because 3 times we have a lot of level 8 monsters in here too. Going on with Abominable Unchained Soul. If a card on the field is destroyed, I can special summon this card from my hand, and if this card is special summoned, I can discard a card, and then I can destroy 1 card on the field. And once per turn, in the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, I can special summon it again from the graveyard on my side of the field. But if I do that, the next time it leaves the field, it goes under the deck. Yeah, that's it. Level 8, very easy. Again, a target for this one. 2 times. 2 times Abominable Unchained Soul. Next one, very cool card. I just put it in here because I love it very much. The Berserk Dragon. Its summoning condition is it can only be special summoned with Deal with the Dark Ruler. And we go to that later. Deal with the Dark Ruler says if a level 8 or higher monster leaves the field or is destroyed, I can activate Deal with the Dark Ruler and I can special summon this one directly from my hand or from the deck, and this card can attack all monsters. Each of the opponent all monsters, and in every of my end phase, this card loses 500 ATK. This is even if we special summon this one correctly and this goes to the graveyard, we cannot special summon it back from the graveyard. This is not possible. Then the next one, also very cool card, Darkness Neosphere, 2 times. Why this one? Well, it's cool. First, and this summoning condition. This card cannot be normal summoned, or said this card cannot be special summoned except by sending 1 fiend type monster you control and 1 fiend type monster from your hand to the graveyard when your opponent's monster declares an attack. Very special, but it can be very good. Very surprising, at least, because no one is expecting this one. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Very nice for 4000 attack and defense. And once per turn you can return all face-up trap cards you control to the hand. This comes also in very handy, but I go through that later. 2 times Darkness Neosphere. Then we have 1 Armageddon Knight, very easy. If this card is summoned, I can put 1 darkness monster from my deck to the graveyard. 1 dark Grepher, pretty like the Armageddon Knight, pretty similar effect. I can summon this card special summon if I discard 1 dark monster with level 5 or higher, and once per turn I can discard a dark monster, and then I can put a dark monster from my deck onto the graveyard. Why we do this, I come to this now, why we do want to do that, because of this one. Of these, Dark Geist of Banishment and Dark Spirit of Banishment and Dark Spirit of Malice. So, here it is. If this card is in the graveyard and a level 8 monster goes into the graveyard, for example through him, or for example through him, or wherever else through Foolish Burial. If a level 8 monster goes to the graveyard while this card is in the graveyard, I can return this card to my hand. Same goes for Dark Spirit of Malice. And if a monster attacks, I can discard this card from my hand, or if it's on the field, I can send it from the field to the graveyard and special summon a fiend type monster from the graveyard. And the attack is changed to the special summoned monster. And with Dark Spirit of Malice, it's almost the same. Here it is, if the opponent activates an effect, it doesn't matter if it's a spell, trap or monster effect, I can also discard this card or send it from the field to the graveyard and special summon again a level 8 fiend type monster in attack position. But its effects are negated, so the effects from the special summoned monster is negated. So these four actually your key cards to start your combo running. As we said before, we have a lot of level 8 monsters, 3 times this Gardius, 3 times Archfiend Empress, 2 times Abominable Unchained Soul, which are all fiend type. And with Armageddon Knight or Dark Grepher, whatever, with Armageddon Knight you send this one to the grave or this one to the grave, and with Dark Grepher you can discard a level 5 or higher dark monster, and if those goes into the graveyard you can add to your hand, and if the opponent attacks or activates effect you can discard it and special summon this high level monster. Especially for Abominable Unchained Soul, that's very nice, because every time this is special summoned you can discard a card and destroy a monster on the card on the field. And if you have a level 8 monster on your head and then you discard it, you can return this one to your hand again and start the combo all over. The only downside is every effect of this and this card can be used once per turn. But it's mostly enough. It's not bad, I would say. We continue with Tour Guide from the Underworld. I guess I don't have to say much about it. If this card is summoned, you can special summon a level 3 fiend monster from your deck or hand. but its effects are negated and cannot used as synchro material, but that doesn't matter because in the extra deck we have mostly XYZ monsters, Z monsters, 2 times. Then we have 2 times something with the Fiendish Rhino warrior, that was the English name. As long this card remains on the field, monsters of Fiend type cannot be destroyed through card effects or battle, and if this card goes onto the graveyard, I can put a Fiend type monster from a deck to the graveyard, except him. So another good card to get your cards in the graveyard, your level 8 monsters or Dark Spirit of Banishment or Dark Spirit of Malice, pretty good one, and a protection too, but not very strong with 1400 attack points. So Doomdog Octhros is our searcher if you want a level 8 Fiend type monster on our hand. Just if this leaves the field and goes to the graveyard, you can add a level 8 type monster to your hand. We play Coronavirus. No, we play 3 times Giant Germ. Mainly because we need 2 monsters to summon Last Beast of Gardius. And if this is destroyed, we can summon another 2 Giant Germs. And if we have this on our hand, we can normal summon Grand Tiki Elder or Melchid, and then special summon Masked Beast of Gardius. That's why this is in here. Giant Germ. And we can inflict 500 damage if it gets destroyed to the opponent, which is also not bad. And the last 3 monsters are Battle Faders, same thing. Or if you have a not very good starting head and cannot start your combos, if opponent declares a direct attack, you can special summon this from your hand and you end the battle phase. And also you can use it, of course, to summon Masked Beast of Gardius then, because you have done a second monster and the battle phase is over. So if the opponent doesn't destroy it somehow with something else, you have an extra monster to tribute 3 times. That's it, 50 monsters. Going to the spells. Well, Monster Reborn, of course, I won't explain that any further. Terraforming to get our field spell. Field spell follows soon. Foolish Burial, as I said before, to get your monsters in the graveyard, of course. Yeah, one very fun card. The Seal of Orichalcos to get the soul of the opponent. Now, why is this in here? First, it's very cool. That's the main reason. And the other reason is, if somehow you have an opponent who won't let you special summon, you are very in a bad situation then. And then you have the Seal of Orichalcos. Then you can normal summon mostly anything here except for Masked Beast of Gardius, and all your monsters gain 500 attack points, so that's not bad. So Grand Tiki Elders would be on 2000 attack points and so on. So it's not that bad. Once per turn it cannot be destroyed. If this card is activated, all monsters that are special summoned get destroyed. You cannot special summon from your extra deck, but it doesn't matter anyway if you have an opponent who don't allow special summons. And as long as you have 2 or more monsters in attack position, then your opponent cannot attack the monster with the lowest decay. So that's pretty cool. Not as good as in the enemy, but it's not nice. It's very nice. So our main field spell for the target for Terraforming is the Dark Sanctuary 3 times. We won't use this for the Destiny board. We use this mainly for the protection, because every time a monster of the opponent attacks, we have to flip a coin. And if the result is heads, the attack is negated and your opponent gets damage half the ATK of the monster who has attacked, and if it is tails, yeah, nothing happens. You get the full damage then. So, and this is every time. It's not once per turn. Every time he attacks, you have to toss a coin and then see what happens. So really a little bit of luck, but very good one. Then Dark Spirit's Mastery. Again, to discard cards to the graveyard, and I can add then a Fiend type monster level 8 from my deck to my hand, or from the graveyard. Everything else doesn't matter because we won't play Destiny Port or Spirit Messages. Then, of course, deal with the Dark Ruler to get Berserk Dragon out. As I said before, I can only activate this card when if a level 8 monster leaves the field to the graveyard. Then I can special summon one Berserk Dragon from my hand or deck. So it's of course it's very nice if you have both of them set or in your hand, because when a level 8 monster leaves the field, you can activate both and summon both of them, both Berserk Dragons. Here's Mask of Remnants, the support card of Masterpiece Gardius. We run 2 of those. As I said before, if Masterpiece Gardius leaves this field, you can equip one monster of your opponent with this, and if you do that, you can take control of that monster. So very nice steal. No one is expecting this because nobody actually is playing this, and a lot of people actually don't even know these cards. So it's always a bad surprise. Mask of Remnants 2 times. And of course, yeah, what a surprise, trade in, because we have a lot of level 8 monsters, and we want the level 8 monsters in the graveyard. This comes in very handy. Discard 1 level 8 monsters and draw 2 cards. It's our pot of greed. The trap cards. Trap cards here focusing mostly on special summoning from the graveyard. We have 3 times World Legacy Secret. That card says, if this card is activated, I can special summon one monster, one level 5 or higher monster from a graveyard. If this card leaves the field, the monster is destroyed. But if the monster is destroyed, this card does not leave the field. And here comes, where is he? Yeah, you know what I mean. Here comes Darkness Neosphere into play, because Darkness Neosphere returns all face-up trick cards back to the hand, so it's a recycle to use these cards again. 3 copies of this. Then, of course, the classic, the trap version of Monster Reborn, Call of the Haunted. Well, I can special summon one monster from the graveyard. If the monster leaves the field, destroy this card. If this card is destroyed, the monster leaves the field. So not as good as World Legacy Secret, but still good one to summon. Powerful Rebirth, is this the correct translation? This is for getting these normal monsters back from the graveyard if we have to, a special summon. And here's the same thing. If the monster is destroyed, this card is destroyed, but if this card gets destroyed, the monster gets not destroyed. So a little bit of protection, and also the monster, the rank of the level of the monster gets 1 higher, and it gains 100 ATK, and that's pretty useless, but it's mainly to recycle our normal monsters. And 2 times Dark Sacrifice. If the opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy cards on the field, as not only monsters, cards on the field, I can negate the effect, and then I can send 1 darkness monster level 3 or lower from my deck to the graveyard. So, and this is also pretty good for, you know what I mean, for to get Dark Spirit of Banishment into the grave, or even the Fiendish Rhino Warrior. And if this Okay. You're good to go. So wherever was it? What was I saying? Genau. Dark Sacrifice. You can also get this one into the graveyard, and if this goes into the graveyard, you can send another card from your deck to the graveyard. That's the plan behind this all here. And side deck, not side deck, extra deck. We run one Divine Arsenal or Zeus, Sky, Thunder, whatever. I guess everyone knows that. You can special summon this card if XYZ monster battled this turn. You can you can discard 2 materials from this to the grave and send all other cards on the field to the graveyard except him. And if the opponent activates effect, or no, if some cards gets destroyed on your side of the field, you can attach 1 material from your extra deck, from your hand or your deck to him again. I guess everyone knows what Zeus does. Number 38 negates spell effects, and the other thing is something with attack target. Yes, if your opponent declares an attack, you can discard 1 material from him, and then the attack target goes to him. Yeah, whatever. I guess I can't translate that, it's too complicated now in a short time, but you know what it does. Then we have all the Galaxy Eyes dragons. You can special summon this with another Galaxy Eyes dragon just on top of it, so rank up. One number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon dragon, whatever. One number 62 Galaxy Eyes Urphotondrache, I don't know what this is called in English. Galaxy Eyes Cypher X dragon and Galaxy Eyes Cypher dragon. Then we have one Dingirzu, also very nice because if this is summoned, you can send 1 card your opponent controls to the grave, so it does not destroy or target or whatever, just send. And every time this card would be destroyed through battle or card effect, you can discard 1 material and nothing happens. And this is not once per turn. You can do this as often as you want, as long as it has material, of course. Then the Heretics Sun Dragon Overlord from Heliopolis. Well, you can tribute monsters from your side on the field or your hand, and then you can destroy as much cards on the field as you have tributed. Then the Heretic Sky Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a card or effect that would target cards on the field or in the graveyard or of the banished cards, you can discard 1 material. That's a quick effect. Oops, here goes the camera again. And then you negate the effect and destroys the card. So here comes the level 3 X. These were all level 8, rank 8 X, Y, Z monsters. Here comes the level 3. Very strange. Chronomerly Crystal Chrononaut. I mainly have this in here because if this is an attack target, I can discard 1 material from this card, and this card cannot be destroyed through battle or card effects this turn, and your opponent receives any battle damage you would receive instead. And of course then a nice card to go into Zeus. Don't know the English name. Aufziehen-Mai-Minen. This is also another protection card. Every time this card would be destroyed through battle or card effect, I can detach 1 XYZ material, and if I did that in the end phase, I can destroy as many cards. If this effect was used, I can destroy 1 card on the field. Panzer der Virtualität, ja. Why is this in here? Well, this is here because I can detach 1 material from this card, and then I can target 1 monster in the field I control, and it cannot be destroyed through battle until the turn, so I can target him. And even And again, once per turn, after damage calculation, for if this card has battled this time in this turn, as long as I have 2 or more monsters with the same type and attribute in my graveyard, I can banish the monster this card battled with. And if we have mostly only Dog and Fiend, this is most of the time the effect that you can use this effect too. One number 17, Leviathan Dragon, just because to get some more ATK out quickly, and again to send cards to the graveyard, because you can detach 1 material from him, and if Fiendish Rhino warrior or whatever is sent this way to the grave, you can activate this effect and go on. And I'm not pretty sure about this one. I put it in because I had 14 cards and I need 15 cards. DDD Stone King Darius. This is in here. The other effect does not count. This is mostly in here because of the last here. You can detach 1 XYZ material from this card. Then this card cannot be destroyed through battle. And after damage calculation, the monster who battled against this card is destroyed, and your opponent gets 500 damage. So, side deck. We have a side deck, yes. If you have an opponent who plays with where you cannot special summon, and some other stuff. But just go through it. Chaos Demic haben wir noch 2 times. 1 Phantom Knights of the Broken Sword, mostly because of its effect, because I can detach 1 material and then 1 card I control and 1 card my opponent controls, and destroy those both, and this is again another great way to send cards to the grave. Another Pouncer with Devil Valid, Another number 62 Galaxy ISU if you need something with a lot attack points. And through his effect he gains even more attack points. Don't know the English name. Scheußliche Kammer der Losgeketten. This is for the Abominable Unchained Soul to special summon it more easier. Well, it's not very useful if you have an opponent who doesn't allow special summon, but you know the idea. Don't even know the English name. Glasmalerei des Lichts und der Dunkelheit. Because so this says if you control 1 of these types of monsters, fairy or fiend, then I can activate the specific effect, because we have only fiend type monsters here. This is then more or less Delinquent Duo, a little bit weaker, but it is Delinquent Duo. If you control a fiend type monster, my opponent draws 1 card, then he discards 1 random card, and then if he have another card in his hand, he must discard another card. So he draws 1 card and discards 2. Pretty bad if he also relies on cards in the graveyard, but if not, it's not bad. Then we have the virus, the forceful virus. I can tribute 1 dark monster with 2000 or more death, which we have a lot in here. Then I can look into the hand cards of my enemy and of my opponent, and all monsters he controls and all cards he draws until the end of the 3rd turn after the activation of this card, and destroy all monsters with 1500 or less death. The Eradicator virus, something like that. This is also pretty similar. I have to tribute 1 dark monster with 2500 or more ATK, which we also have a lot. And then declare 1 card type, trap or spell. And then I can destroy all trap or spell cards he controls and he has on his hand, and all spell and or traps he draws until the 3rd turn after the activation get also destroyed. And another virus, The deck Devastation Virus, again I have to attribute one Darkness monster with 2000 or more decay, and then I have to look out through all monsters on the field and on the hand of my opponent. I destroy all monsters with 1500 or less decay, and also all monsters he would draw until the third turn after the activation. Tower Opfer. I can banish one card from the opponent's graveyard and one card from my graveyard to tribute summon any monster, mostly for Chaos or the Archfiend Empress or whatever, 2 times. Card destruction, we're pretty obvious. Another Fiendish Renew Warrior if you want to get more cards in the graveyard, and another Dark Spirit of Malice if you to switch with Dark Spirit of Banishment if your opponent activates more effects and does not attack as often. So, holy moly, this was a pretty long video. I'm sorry it took so long, but I also wanted to talk a bit about it, not just going through it pretty fast. I put the deck profile also in the video description. This was more or less just a little bit of explanation how what I was thinking when I built this deck. Okay, everyone who stayed with me this long time, thank you very much for watching, and everyone else also thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.